have thought? The 6th generation Bronco fits a 7.3-liter Godzilla V8 without framework. Back when Ford announced the Bronco Raptor, the Blue Oval infamously said that a V8 just doesn't fit between the frame rails. Then it created the Bronco DR race truck. But still it maintained the Coyote V8 doesn't fit without some frame massaging. Turns out there is another Ford V8 that could have been used. And the funhavers at RTR, led by Loren Healy and Vaughn Gittin Jr. just put it in their latest creation, the RTR Bronco Funrunner Lieutenant. There is also a chance this might not be the only one for long. It's true that the wide DOHC 5.0-liter Coyote V8 wouldn't fit easily into the engine bay of a 2025 Ford Bronco. With the exhaust hanging down out of the heads, you either need to raise the engine up or massage the frame rails to keep the weight down low for a good, stable desert running platform. This is something that the RTR team is quite familiar with, as both Healy and Gittin have raced stock and tube frame Broncos in Ultra 4. They also know just how much of a difference a torque monster engine makes running the desert and crawling over the rocks makes. Nothing wrong with the 2.7 or 3.0-liter twin-turbo V6s of the Bronco and Bronco Raptor. But it's nice to have a lump of torque at the lower portion of the power band that those turbos just don't quite hit. Enter the ultimate such V8 from Ford, the Godzilla 7.3-liter naturally aspirated V8. Out of the box, the 445 cubic inch engine makes 430 horsepower and, most importantly, 475 pound-feet of peak torque at 4.000 revolutions per minute and maintaining well over 400 pound-feet all the way to 5.500 revolutions per minute. That's a big band for a great amount of torque and what made the Godzilla perfect for the gas engine option for F-Series Super Duty trucks. It's also significantly more than the 315 HP, 410 pound-foot of the 2.7-liter twin-turbo V6 and a chunk better than even the Bronco Raptor's 418 horsepower and 440 pound-feet of torque. The important part of this story is that the fully dressed 7.3-liter V8 is much narrower than those V6s and the 5.0-liter V8 in the Bronco Drive. This is due in part to the Godzilla's pushrod design versus the Coyote's dual overhead cam setup. Ask anyone who's done an LS or even an LT swap into a Japanese or European car that originally came with an i4, rotary, V6, or even an i6. Those pushrod engines will fit in often without any modification other than new mounts. According to Gittin, the 7.3-liter fits well in place of the 2.3-liter EcoBoost turbocharged i4 and 2.7-liter V6. Again, this is something Gittin is very familiar with as the engines in his RTR drift team utilize an engine based on the Roush-Yates RY45 block in their Spec 5 FD Mustangs, an aluminum block that is also a pushrod V8. The important part of this story is that the fully dressed 7.3-liter V8 is much narrower than those V6s and the 5.0-liter V8 in the Bronco Drive. This is due in part to the Godzilla's pushrod design versus the Coyote's dual overhead cam setup. Ask anyone who's done an LS or even an LT swap into a Japanese or European car that originally came with an i4, rotary, V6, or even an i6. Those pushrod engines will fit in often without any modification other than new mounts. According to Gittin, the 7.3-liter fits well in place of the 2.3-liter EcoBoost turbocharged i4 and 2.7-liter V6. Again, this is something Gittin is very familiar with as the engines in his RTR drift team utilize an engine based on the Roush-Yates RY45 block in their Spec 5 FD Mustangs, an aluminum block that is also a pushrod V8. The suspension duties are handled by a set of Fox Performance Elite dampers with the 2.5-inch COI lovers. Additionally, there are traditional 3.0-inch Fox Performance Elite bypass shocks on all four corners and that required new Funhover front upper and lower control arms for fitment. This suspension setup keeps the 20-inch Funhover beadlock wheels wrapped in 42 by 13.50 R20 Nitto Trail Grappler MT tires in constant contact with the ground by providing around 18 inches of wheel travel. This also necessitated the use of a full hydraulic steering conversion from power steering components, PSC, that you'll normally see used on trophy trucks and hardcore pre-running off-road trucks. The body of the Bronco LT started life as a 2022 Sasquatch Badlands but is then converted to all-fun heaver with fully composite front and rear quarter panels that extend the fenders out to mostly cover the new tires and track width. Fun Heaver also provides its rock sliders, modular front bumper with integrated rigid dually lighting and Warn VR Evo 8S winch, with a Factor 55 Ultra hook attached to the synthetic winch line. And the rear bumper, it also reflects its RTR roots thanks to the inclusion of its unique grille. Light bar with rigid 360 LED lighting, and its rear tire carrier delete plate. Thanks to being a Bronco, RTR was able to add a quartet of lower A pillar lights for off-road cornering lighting using 2 rigid dually cubes on each pillar. Inside and under the rear cargo floor sits 4 Optima batteries, orange top LFP batteries with each one equipped with an Optima crank power reserve (CPR) module to disconnect them from parasitic loads and retain a reserve charge for starting. Just behind them is an ARB twin motor, onboard compressor kit with a small reserve tank and a 1/4 inch airline quick connect fitting on the left rear stock Bronco roll cage down tube to air up its tires. Ahead of all that is a D-pillar cross brace while all 4 passengers, as the rear bench seat is replaced, sit in Recaro Cross Sportster ORV seats. Despite those new seats, all passengers use the stock Ford 3-point seat belts to secure themselves to the Bronco. If you're looking at this as just a one-off, you're not entirely incorrect. Right now, the 2025 RTR Ford Bronco Funrunner LT is the only one of its kind. We suspect that won't be for very long as the RTR Vehicles team has already opened its order books to build customer versions after it debuted at Moab during Easter Jeep Safari. Loren Healy, Vaughn Gittin, and the rest of the RTR crew aren't afraid to admit that this isn't a Bronco for the average income enthusiast. For one, the swap isn't street legal and the RTR Bronco Lieutenant will be sold as a conversion to an off-highway vehicle. 2. The level of kit included in this conversion is far beyond your everyday modded Bronco. It's a race-ready package for those who just want to go out and play in Johnson Valley or an off-road park with a Bronco that will take everything the driver can throw at it. Save for deep water with the K&N filter kit on this example. If you're that 1% that craves the ultimate 6th generation Bronco and needs a 7.3-liter V8 under the hood, then your only choice is building a Funrunner LT.